I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
All right, guys, welcome. Oops, the podcast. Welcome back. It's nice to have you. I'm Giulio Gallerati, joined as always by Francis Ellis.
Hey, folks.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Who we got today?
Today we have the legend himself,
Ooh.
Cipha Sounds.
Hello, that's me.
Hey, Cipha.
How are you? This is Oops,
This is
the
Oops, the
podcast.
Podcast, yeah.
Okay, and are you planning on making that a musical one day?
It could be
Could
wonderful.
be.
You know what I mean? Because that's what people always say, like blank the musical.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are already ahead of the game.
Hell yeah.
I would buy that name now just
It's not
to
a
be
bad
safe.
idea. And
Yeah.
you know what we could do? What we'd have to do is we'd have to put an exclamation point at the end of Oops.
Yeah.
Oops!
Oops.
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
The podcast. The musical.
The musical.
Yeah.
Oh, Oops, the podcast, the musical.
That's great.
That's it. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's it.
That's
I like that.
Dude, that's just some good brainstorming.
Guys, Cipha has been around for a minute, as they say in different communities.
Renaissance man.
Yeah.
You were on Sirius XM radio for fucking 17 years.
No, Hot 97. for
Hot 90
years.
17 for 17
Yeah.
years. You've had so many different radio shows, so much success
Yeah.
in this world. And what are you up to now?
Now I've transitioned into, I would say 90% stand-up comedy, as opposed to when I was on the radio, I was like 40, 50% trying to figure
Right.
out
Mhm.
what to do. And I think I left radio about almost 5 years now. And just wanted to pursue stand-up, you know,
Cool.
in every which way. So I do that. I tour with a bunch of people. Like I open up for Michael Che, Dave Chappelle, Michelle Wolf. Just so like I just try to get on stage every chance I get, and I use my DJ skills to sneak on certain sets because I'll open up the show, I'll DJ the show for you in the beginning, and then I go out and do stand up also.
Mm.
So I just
Right.
find a way on, you know.
Dope.
It's an amazing set, things, two different skills to pair.
Yeah.
Very few, I don't know any other comedians that can also DJ.
I don't know any. I met one guy in Vegas who said he used to DJ and now does stand up, but I've never seen anyone do it at the same time the way I do.
Mm.
Right.
So I'm trying to find my own lane or build my own lane. You
You're
know,
like Rozelle of comedy.
yeah, yeah.
DJing
hope
and
to
comedy
spawn.
at the same time.
I hope to spawn thousands of little DJ comedian children, and I'm the godfather.
Well, I'll say, Cipha, you have always been inspiring to me because I remember when you decided to make the jump to doing comedy, you fucking dove all in.
Yeah,
This guy was out every single night at a show, literally every single night. And I remember you even telling me the streak that you were on.
yeah.
And you're not like a drinker
No.
and stuff. So like this guy's out at night. And I know for me, when I'm out at night, if I'm just not drinking at all ever, like I get extremely tired.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep pushing.
Tired and like awkward because everybody's drunk.
Right.
Like you're like the fucking sober narc that's in the corner. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So how do you find all the energy to like keep going?
it's just fun, man. Like
Right.
I think people put too much pressure on making it and being successful and getting on this show. And it's just like, hey, remember when we just wanted to have fun? Like I'm blessed that my life is fun. I mean, I do get stressed about things also, but the show parts, like that's the best part.
Mm.
Hearing comic, like I hate I don't know if you guys like this. Sorry to disrespect you. I hate comedians that go, I don't watch other comics. I don't want them to influence me. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, yo.
I'm not
I
that guy.
love comedy,
I don't
yo.
like that either.
Why would I not sit and watch all these great shows for free?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Cipha. You're at a level where you get to watch good comedy.
Yeah.
I often have to wait for my spot and watch 3
Yeah.
or 4 very beginning comics.
Yeah.
That's not that fun.
I know it's but not that particular part, but like you gotta just make everything fun.
Yeah.
Like the other night I did that barbershop show.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's a
That I've
great
never
show.
done it before.
It's fun.
And I walked in and it was just like a sea of white faces, like Megan and Amber. You know what I mean? And I was like, what am I gonna do here? And then I'm like, I'm in a barbershop And like, this is like, it's great. I have jokes about my career being in the toilet. I'm in a barbershop doing comedy. Like, it's great. I just make it fun, you know?
Hell yeah.
Just make it fun.
Absolutely.
Great.
Man. One thing I think is cool too, like you post you have so many great photos from all the
ones,
bro.
yeah.
Like all the things that are now becoming it's now becoming folklore. Like these stories of like this New York rap scene. Like people have forgotten what it was like. And like the big puns and the Nas and you like were hanging around all these guys.
All of them.
You're going to be the coolest grandfather in the world.
Yeah, man. Like, I love throwback pictures, man. Because I, like, back then, like, I just put up a picture the other day because I was on the Drink Champs podcast with Nori. And I put up a picture of me and Nori from the Tunnel nightclub in, like, 98.
Hell yeah.
And I've been holding that picture until I got on his podcast, which is, like, so big now. And, like, I got so many pictures I still haven't even scanned. You know what I'm saying? Like just actual, because like we didn't have camera phones back then. So like I used to buy either disposable cameras or I had like some kind of, I don't even remember what kind. I remember one time I had a disc camera. Remember those? Disc cameras.
That's crazy. And every picture was fire though, because you only had 10 pictures.
And they look old and it's fun.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dude, disposable cameras. What a great, fun thing that was. I remember my parents, we went to France.
Yeah.
And my parents gave I was like 8 years old.
What's your name again?
Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close. It is close. Believe me. People gave me shit about that.
How have I never?
That was like the most common question I would get when I would meet people when I was 6 years old. Hi, I'm Francis. Your name is Francis? Are you from France? No, you fucking idiot. There's a whole new syllable. Cunt. Piss me off.
Yeah, you went to France.
The problem was I started going to France all the time. And so then people it became a big part of my life. First time I went, my parents gave my sister and me each a disposable camera. It only had 30 photos that you could take. And you had that little ticker on the top, the thing that counted it down. And you had to be so you had to parse it out, right? Of
course.
And you're like, well, there's the Eiffel Tower, but I can only take 2 pictures of that.
One with me in it and one of it.
Yeah. And it was so frustrating. And I blew all my load on the fucking
Here's what I hate about
Tower.
people talking about Oops, the podcast. All the people, I fucking hate you, that used to get a disposable camera, take a picture, and then wind it immediately and then put it in their pocket or their bag. And it might flick a picture and you wind it when you're ready to take the picture. These are things that bother me, guys.
For sure.
I never fucking thought of that.
It's like,
dude, I was a winder. Just so you know.
Everybody was.
I'm coming out of the closet as a winder.
You wind it, you take the picture, you wind it so it's you cocked and loaded, ready to go.
Exactly.
Had a lot of
It's
pocket flash.
Originally you were a DJ.
Yeah.
And you gained a lot of success. You DJ'd on Chappelle's show for multiple 19 episodes. I read.
Is it 19? I never even knew.
That's pretty incredible. Did you always play that Dead Presidents song?
No, that was they played it. It was that was part of the TV. Once that part happened, I was done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to listen to your voice as a child, man. I would listen to Cipha.
Weird.
I know, it's weird. Like I'd come to New York and I'd buy they'd be selling mixtapes on the side of the street, and there would always be occasionally you just hear Cipha on a track. They would use that. That's an honor though, man. They use you in all these.
There was a
classic...
lot of. I didn't make a lot of mixtapes, but what people used to do was they used to tape the radio and then make them into bootleg, and that's why I was big in Japan. I'm very big in Japan. I was big in Japan because people would tape the radio and send it to Japan, and you would listen to however long a CD was. I think 80 minutes of just Hot 97, just and they would send it to Japan. And then there was one time in Japan, they got this weird kind of satellite radio before XM. It was some kind of hookup, so it would play live in Japan. But if I was on the overnights, I'd be playing at prime time in Japan.
That's crazy.
Because it would just be 12 hours later.
Yeah.
So I was the fucking man off of these bootleg mixtapes. And it was so weird.
Did you do the overnight for a while?
I would fill in a lot. Yeah. I'd
It's
fill
like
in,
the Stretch and Bobito shift.
Yeah.
So like how?
But that was just that was one day a week. There was
Okay.
like a overnight
All right.
show. Yeah.
But you also had very early mornings,
yes.
right? You did
That
5
was-
a.m. to 10, ultimately 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
I used to have the morning show on my series show, and it was 7 to 9.
Yeah.
Get in at 6:15,
Yeah.
and it's
Crazy.
like that crushed me.
Yeah. Did you live here?
Yeah.
So it's not that far, but like
In fact, it was even closer. Our,
Yeah.
our radio studio was at 27th and 7th.
yeah. It was it was rough.
Did you do it 5 days a week?
5 days a week, yeah. For 17 years, I went to Hot 97 roughly 6 days a week. Sometimes 5, sometimes 7. So I always average like 6 days a week.
Right.
But unless I was like away, like on vacation or traveling, I'd go to that radio station almost every single day.
And Hot 97 is terrestrial radio,
Yeah.
but it's syndicated. Is that right? Isn't it across the country?
No,
right?
no.
But it's
No.
de facto syndicated in the sense that everybody knows about it. Like
This
I
is-
look forward to coming into the city. So
Hot
I can listen to
97,
it.
yeah, Hot 97 actually was a part of a small company, and we never syndicated like that.
Huh.
The thing about Hot 97 was that it was the first radio station to do what it did, and like in those days of the hip hop blowing up, I sound like a grandfather.
The hip hop.
Like hip hop music,
Sound like
of
me.
hip hop blowing up,
Yeah.
it became like the standard.
Mhm.
Like other radio stations would watch Hot 97, see what we were playing, and then see if they could play it, you know?
Your Wikipedia page says that you were the first person to play Rihanna.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Ever.
You
Yeah,
told me
ever.
that story. Didn't you like tell Jay that she was dope?
Yeah. I met Rihanna through, like, I never say discovered Rihanna because I didn't find her in Barbados, but basically I was the next step. I mean, literally. I knew these guys that were producing her, and I met her. She was, I think she was just about to turn 17.
Damn.
And I took her song and I played it on the radio, which got a lot of hype for her to get all these meetings to go record companies to get a deal. And then she eventually got to Def Jam. And then I knew Jay, and he was like, I don't know that the song could be bigger than her. You know what I'm saying? It might be like a one hit. And I had to like yell at him, like convince, like, no, I'm telling you, she's dope. It's more than just this one song. You got to hear the rest, you know? And then the next day she gets the deal.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Do you remember what that
Yeah.
song was? Her first one that you heard or that you played?
Yeah. Palm the Replay. It's the first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was her first single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Wow.
in the video, like
That's
looking
fire.
sexy in the video. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yo, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm just killing
That's
it.
amazing.
Big old hat. I have my big new era hat, just 3 sizes bigger than it should be.
Over the ears.
Over the
Yeah.
ears, man.
Over the ears.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
It's great.
Hell yeah, dude. That's so fucking cool.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff like that. Sean Paul, I was a big part of. Rick Ross, you know, those are the ones I actually know. I firsthand was part of the original conception of the whole movement. But like even like records like Mobb Deep, not Shook Ones. What's the other one? Quiet Storm.
Oh yeah.
I broke that record. Horse and Carriage, Cameron. 50 Cent, I was a part of like the early playing it really early. Not
Get Rich or
first.
Die Trying.
I don't say 1st,
Mhm.
but no, way before that, like mixtapes. Yeah, before. Yeah, I don't say first with those guys, but I was part of it, you know?
That's very crazy, man.
Yeah.
Quiet Storm, all those Mobb Deep beats. I don't, Chris, you can maybe speak to this, but like every high school freestyle circle
Yeah.
has
Crazy
beats
Mobb Deep,
from
yeah.
the Quiet Storm era, and
Yeah.
not just Shook Ones, like all
Yeah.
of them, like from all Hell on Earth, all those songs. That's very cool, man, to be influential like that.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
Yeah, and then, but dude, then to like, it's really you really made a complete pivot in what you do because
Yeah.
although it's like entertainment and it's still you speaking, it's a completely different lane.
Yes.
Is that scary? Was that scary?
At the time, yes. Now looking back, okay, this is what I realized. The market told me I was funny. I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just being me on the radio, and it was funny. I wasn't like writing bits. I just was doing shit like, you know,
Right.
street humor, fucking stoop humor, road trip. I call it road trip humor. I used to always make my friends laugh on a road trip, just fucking around. So then on the radio, when I got my own show on Saturdays, I would like I would tell someone they won a contest, but then I would like put them on a conference call and put the dial tone so they thought I hung up on them, and they're like, no, he said I won. And then or you know what I used to do on the air that I used to love? I still love it to this day. I wish I could do it. Remember the Nextel chirps?
Yeah.
Chip, chip. Yeah, bro. I used to have that sound effect in the computer at the radio, and just in the middle of songs, I would just play it. And I know there was like hundreds of thousands of people looking at their phone. No chirp. And then people would call and be like, I think your phone is on the air. I'm like, I don't even have a Nextel. And they're like, I hear the chirp. But like, that's not even a practical joke to one person. That was like thousands of people that I know every time would look at their phone, you know? So anyway, so people used to say I was funny. Yo, you're funny on the radio, you're funny. So I was like, all right, people keep saying funny. What am I doing with this? So I just started producing a show. I was like, if you guys associate me with funny, let me get a room, let me get some comics, and let me make some money. You know what I'm saying?
And that was at Caroline's, right?
At first it was comics.
Oh, okay.
When
It
was
closed.
this? What year?
07.
Okay.
Late 07. So like, I say 08, but like it was like November, October 07. I started this show, Don't Get Gas, and first one, ram-packed. And like, that became like the hottest show in the urban world. Come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? Black. And rappers would come, football. I don't know anything about sports. There'd be football players. There'd be like basketball players. Like people would be like, John Starks is in the audience. I'm like, what did he do? Tell me something. He dunked on Jordan. Okay, I'll say that. You know, like, and I met all these people. And then eventually that place closed and I moved it to Caroline's. And it was like the hottest show. But I didn't know at the time I wasn't really in the comedy world. I was just doing comedy in the music world.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to like learn that. But like I did that, and then that made me want to do more stand up. And then I started like just going out and just doing stand up at all the urban shows, all the urban rooms, or if there was any show where they advertised on Hot 97, I'd be like, hey, can I come open? I'll go first. I'll go before the host. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll do anything. Like just want to get on stage. And then eventually I learned how to do it for real.
100%, man. And like, I've always wanted to ask you this. I don't know if I ever have. But like, what is that like when you're on this big scale? You're the fucking man. And you even joke about this, how you're a celebrity in New York.
Yeah.
You're sort of
Very
almost
famous
kind of
in-
very famous in
yeah.
New York. Very true. How do you go from that to then being at like a 7-person show, a 7-person comedy show where people don't necessarily know you and not feeling like shit?
I don't have an ego. Like zero ego. I don't care what you think of me. If you come up to me and you're a fan from back in the day, it's a blessing. I love it. Appreciate it. Picture, anything you want, whatever. Great. If you have no idea who I am, it doesn't bother me. I don't get affected. Like, yo, what the fuck? I'm Cipha Said. Like, I don't care. I have no ego, right? And like, I just want to do what makes me happy.
Right.
And that's happens to right now be, comedy. And I like to do it because it makes other people happy. Oh, on my point, what I was saying before, which ties into this, is like, I realize now, I think I went from radio and DJing to stand-up comedy, which was like a big career shift. But now I look at it like I was always just talking and being funny and entertaining. I just used different avenues.
Right.
Like, I was never good. I used to try to produce music. I sucked at it. You know what I'm saying? I got every piece of equipment you need to make the dopest music. I got the machines RZA uses, Primo, Dr. Dre. Nothing comes out sounding like any of those guys. And so I always thought I was in the music game, but it's not. I was always just an entertainer. My best qualities were like, there was 1,000 DJs in nightclubs, but no one made people laugh while dancing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like my thing. So I was like, oh, it all was kind of the same. Like, it wasn't the biggest jump as a career as you make it seem.
Yeah, right. Like, I see what you're saying. There is.
I was always on stage talking on a mic.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
now I just write jokes as opposed to like kind of just freestyle.
Right.
Do you miss being on the radio at all?
I miss the fun parts. I miss my show on Saturdays. That was where I should have stopped. because I thought I'd be at Hot 97 for my entire life. Flex, Funkmaster Flex was my mentor, was never leaving. He's still there. So I wasn't going to take over his show. So the next best thing would be mornings, which is the most popular time slot. So I fought hard to get that. And once I got there, I didn't like it and then eventually hated it. Because Saturday was the one. Saturday I was on 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I would be a jock, like be an air personality. And then at noon, I would mix from noon to 1 and then eventually noon to 2. So I was funny and waking people up. And then I would mix. And everybody used to hit me like, oh, I listen to you when I clean my house or do my laundry or wash my car. And I became like this different, like it was perfect for doing comedy too, because these are working people who are up early on the weekends getting their shit done.
Right.
So inviting them to a 7 o'clock show as opposed to a 1 a.m. nightclub was great. It was perfect fit for what I was doing. Like, oh, I'll come see a show and then I'll go home because I got to work tomorrow, you know? And that was the most fun I ever had, and I should have just kept that. When I got the morning show, I became the boss of like 5-6 people, of 6 people who did not want a boss. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh, come on, guys. Can you just, Rosenberg, can you come on time, please? We used to do this show from 4 to 6 a.m.
Jesus.
And then Big Boy, the radio guy from LA, he had a syndicated show for a year in New York. Everyone knew it wasn't going to work, but the company wanted to do it. So we used to do like the warm-up show 4 to 6. And then eventually, Rosenberg always used to come late. And then eventually we got the real morning show 5 to 10, and he would still come late. And I'm like, just pretend we're still on at 4 and come at that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like come at 4:30. Like I know you can do it because you always used to do it. And I hated that. Like being a boss was the worst. The worst. It wasn't fun.
Tricks of the trade.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, I feel you.
Being up that early removes you from a lot of society.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not only does it prevent you from really going out the night before, but especially you got to get to bed at an hour that most people our age or whatever weren't doing.
I was still going out.
Were you?
I was still DJing and doing stand up every night. Like,
that's insane.
Yeah. And they'd be like, just go straight to the station and sleep. I'm like, no, I got to go home. I got to shower. Showering makes it feel like a new day.
Yeah.
You know, not the same old day.
So there were a lot of nights where you would just you didn't sleep.
Yeah, maybe an hour.
Damn.
I mean, that was in the beginning. Then eventually I started stopping that.
It's tough. It's isolating, you know, in many ways.
Yeah.
And
some people love it.
Yeah.
Some people love it, are meant for it. Like there's some people who are meant to do morning radio. They wake up early, like Howard Stern. He's meant to do it. He wakes up early, he does his shit, goes to bed 8:30, you know what I mean? Like
it's crazy.
Loves it. Yeah, it's not.
Would you, after the show was over, would you go home and sleep?
I tried, but I couldn't sleep in the daytime. It was really bad. I still can't. Like I can't. I'm not a good napper. But we wouldn't get out until like 1 because we had to prep the next day. And then I had jobs. I used to work at record companies, or like I was like doing other stuff. Like so, I would go to work. Yeah, I'd be up. Yeah, it was crazy. It was
wild,
crazy.
Dude.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Well, we are Oops the podcast. The podcast about mistakes, and I wanted to ask you. You know, have you had any moments in your career? It sounds like you've alluded to a few, but times where something you said on radio or a decision you made that you felt set you back, or where you were worried about your career.
This is on video, right?
Yeah.
I think a mistake I made today was wearing this color hoodie on this couch. Can you even see me on the video? This is like a Puerto Rican head floating.
Floating head, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I got tons of mistakes, but I love mistakes, man. I love them. You know all the memes on Instagram, like you learn from your mistakes and you got to fail harder. You know, one of the mistakes I always tell is I didn't sign Drake when I had the opportunity to. So that was a big deal.
To your own label? Or
no, at the time I was working for Jay-Z. I was Rockefeller, Rock La Familia, and he had given me his demo in Toronto. And I do a stand-up joke about it, which sounds much worse. The stand-up jokes like I failed completely. But also like, yeah, I didn't, at the time I was kind of fed up with music. It could have been anyone's demo. And I was just like, I'm not into artists right now. You know what I'm saying? And then he became Drake and I was like, oh God damn it.
Were there any connections that you made during your career in radio and in music that you've been able to leverage now in stand-up comedy?
Oh yeah, so much. I mean, Dave Chappelle is one of the biggest ones because Dave I met through Mos Def and Talib Kweli, and Dave is just like, if Dave wasn't a comedian, he'd be a rapper or some kind of musician. Like he loves music as much as he loves comedy. Like there's never a moment when you're with Dave Chappelle where there isn't music talk or music playing. Every show he ever does as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
and
part
live music also.
Yeah. Like he loves music that much. So I met him through music. And then that's how I got to DJ on the Chappelle Show. And then years later, now I go on the road with him as a DJ and as an opener. So that's a big one. But like all the stuff, like I try to start when I left Hot 97, I tried to start Rock Nation Comedy. And there's a lot of things going on why it didn't work. But Jay loved the idea because I told Jay-Z, I said, you don't even probably realize this, but you put Kevin Hart in his first movie ever, which was a movie called Paper Soldiers that Rockefeller Records put out. And I was like, you had the guy, you know what I'm saying? Like you had him. So like, there's a lot of other guys. Let's put out, as much as you manage artists like rappers and athletes, let's do comedians. But that's one way I was trying to build a connection. There's tons of, like I did an improv show at UCB for a long, I still do it.
You still do it, right?
Yeah, it's monthly now, but I used to do weekly. And I would get rappers to come and tell stories, and then we would do improv off their story. Like that's the biggest connection. Like that was literally me throwing these two worlds together.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like 2 Chainz in UCB East.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I just saw the video the other day. I was like, I'm gonna start chopping it up and put it out on Instagram. But 2 Chainz security wouldn't let the improvisers in the green room. And he was like, nah, Chainz is in there. And we're like, no, this is our green room. He's like, nah, Chainz is in there.
Hilarious.
And they were just like, okay. Like little white kids were like, all right, I guess we can't
Yeah,
go.
what are they going to do?
You know what I mean?
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zip, zap, zap. Just had to do their vocal exercises outside.
Well, let me ask you this too. I mean, now everybody's getting in trouble for saying shit on their podcasts, right?
Yeah.
That's the era that we are in, whatever you want to say about it. You were saying shit on the radio for 17 years.
Oh, man.
Did you have tons of situations where you were getting in trouble for saying stuff?
No, not tons. First of all, we could say a lot more things back then.
Right.
You ever watch The Office now? They
It's
say some
unbelievable.
crazy shit.
They say retarded.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot of gay jokes.
A lot of gay
and shit.
jokes.
Which is, I still think it's fine, but it just feels different in this time.
Totally.
But like I was on Hot 97 and the biggest thing I got in trouble for, well, I made a joke about a shelter for abused women. And I got in trouble for that. They're like, you can't make jokes about it. I was like, it was a pretty funny joke. And then the Haitian incident, which always comes up, where I said something about Haitians. That was the biggest one because that one blew up where I was on every news channel. Like Hot 97, you know when you're in trouble on the news is when they say your rap name and then your real name. You ever notice that? Like anytime a rapper gets arrested, they say his rap name and then they say his real name. Yeah. So it was like Hot 97 radio personality, Cipha Sounds, whose real name is Luis Diaz, is in hot water, And I was like, oh, fuck.
And a lot of the time you're like, I would never have known his name was that.
Yeah. So
2
like,
Chainz, also known as Ralph James.
Yeah.
So I made this joke, and first of all, there's a couple things about it. I made this joke because the girl on the show, Kay Fox, the night before, she was at a charity event for Wyclef's sister. She was friends with Wyclef and his sister, and it was this event where it was Virgin Records, Virgin whatever, like Richard Branson's company, Virgin, was supplying condoms to Haiti and a lot of other sexual education type stuff, and they were giving out these virgin condoms. And so the main reason why I got in trouble is because she was gonna shout them out. So all these Haitians were listening specifically for the shout out of the event last night.
Gotcha.
That's really what blew it up, because it was like not all, but a lot of powerful Haitians doing a good cause for Haiti were all listening for the shout out.
Gotcha.
So it was like super like focused.
Perfect
And then
story.
she threw a condom at me, and I go, I don't need a virgin condom. I don't sleep with Haitian girls. That's all I said. The news put it on that I said, because they have HIV. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, it was an event for preventing HIV. So here's the crazy shit. Here's how I love and hate New York at the same time. You know how there's that old, how you from New York?
No.
Where are you from?
Maine.
Okay. Oh, wow. I love Portland. They got good,
I'm glad you liked it. I did not think you were
didn't
going
like
that
it?
way.
They got great,
Lobster
lobster rolls,
yeah,
man.
for sure. The best.
It's really good. This is a New York thing where, especially the old Brooklyn, not the new gentrified Brooklyn, but there was always beef with Haitians and the Hasidic community, especially because of this crazy incident, I think in the 80s or 90s, right? So when I said that Haitian comment on the radio, everyone thought it was my co-host Rosenberg, who's Jewish. So the Haitian Jewish thing flared up, and they were like, Rosenberg said this, Rosenberg said that. So they went in on him. And then they started calling. Facebook went crazy. And then we heard about it, like, as we're on the air, like we're getting all these complaints, guys. And we're like, what? Really? We're like ignoring it. And then like we get off the radio, and then it blew up like big. And then it was like, everybody was like, Hot 97, Peter Rosenberg says he won't sleep with Haitian girls because they have AIDS. And I was like, no one ever said AIDS, and it wasn't Peter Rosenberg.
Right.
So then I had to go on the air and apologize and say it was me. But they were like, oh no, well, we already got this oil cooking. Somebody's got to jump in. So, oh, it's you that said it? Okay, you jump in the oil. Because we were going to frigacy Rosenberg, but we'll frigacy you too. It's fine, you know? And then I got in the oil, and I had to fucking take it. But like, the news story died quickly because, one, I apologized right away. So the next day was like Hot 97 DJ in hot water, da 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 da. Then the next day after that, like, I'm literally on every news channel. It was fucking weird, man. And then the next day after that, they were gonna do a protest in front of Hot 97 to get me fired.
Wow.
So the news covered that. But then the news was like, oh, he already apologized. It's not really a story here.
Yeah.
Right.
I apologized right away. Like, so they were like, okay, this is a good 2, maybe 3 day story, but he already apologized. What are we? Usually you're fighting for the apology. So, so I got called. It's actually, I was at my show that night at Comics, and I got called, and they're like, we got to suspend you because we got to figure out what's going on here.
Wow.
So then I was out of work for like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got suspended. But then it went, you know, I met with every Haitian I could meet with. And also I got so many Haitian friends. Like, my friends were like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
All right. Cipha Sounds.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming on, man.
Where can we find you?
Well, I just want to say, Haitian people that are listening, and we've rekindled this old stupid fucking thing that happened. I'm sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect. Find me just at Cipha Sounds. That's my Instagram. And I'm always at the Comedy Cellar if I'm here in New York, which is like my home. Come visit us there. I'm going on the road. I'm going to London. When does this come out? Today? This is out now, right? Because people are listening. I'm in February. I'm in London with Dave Chappelle for like the whole month.
Fire.
So we're gonna be at the Leicester Square Theater.
Wow.
Oh, I don't. Did he announce that? Maybe I'm not allowed to say it. Oh, fuck it. London, bitch. I'm there. Yeah, but just ask Cipha Sounds. I take all DMs. I almost respond to anyone unless you're a rapper and or they're trying to get your cousin on. Yeah, just hit me up. Cipha.
Cipha
Sounds
sounds.
spelled correctly.
Julio is at Not Julio. You got any dates coming up?
I think I have some cool stuff coming up in March that I'm excited to talk about soon, but
Great.
not official yet.
I'm at Helium Philly, March 5th to the 7th. Get tickets for that at francisellis.com, at Francis CC Ellis. As always, this is Oops the Podcast. Send us your Oops to at Oops the Podcast on Instagram. And thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week.